Hello, welcome back to another video. If this is not your first time watching one of our videos, you might be a little surprised because this is slightly different than usual. One reason is because it is currently 10:44 at night, and if you guys know me at all, I should have been asleep like 2 hours ago. I have been working all day long and kind of all day long for the past like week or so. Haley and I are headed out of town to go to our church camp tomorrow, and when we go on a big trip like this, we'll be gone for 8 days. And when we go on a big trip like that, we have to prepare for it a little bit, make extra YouTube videos and make sure the reselling business is keyed up, make sure Mo's is taken care of. So it's just really, really busy leading up to trips like this. And honestly, I've been, I think, overworking myself a little bit. The video that I posted on YouTube today, it was like, it's called like 50 garage sales in 5 hours. I spent 2 days, like probably a total of like 7 hours, like working with that footage and editing that video together, and then somehow it got exported in 480p instead of 1080p. If you don't know what that means, that just means the quality is like half of what it should be. I have no idea what happened, and I went to go try and fix it, and I couldn't. I deleted the edit file after I rendered the video, and then there's just nothing else to do. The only thing I could do is like delete the video and take all the raw footage from the GoPro and just re-edit the video again, and it's too late to do that. So if you were watching the video and you were wondering why the quality was so bad, I don't know. I guess I just messed up. I guess I just overlooked or hit the wrong button. I don't know. But going forward, this video that you're watching right here will be in 1080p, guaranteed. I think there's a fine line between like, I don't know, being like hyper-focused in business and like having a good work ethic, and then overworking yourself and being too focused on your business. I've never been one to be overly focused on my work when I was working with other people, but once you have your own business that you started and it starts to grow and become successful, it's super easy to get kind of sucked into this vortex of like constantly thinking about your business. The other night I woke up like 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning, and I couldn't go back to sleep after like 20 minutes, and I was just thinking about all the stuff I had to do in the business. Like I did an ad for Simply Safe on YouTube like 3 months ago, and I haven't even sent them the invoice for that yet. Like usually you do the ad and then like a month later you send the invoice, and then like a month after that they pay you. It's been like 3 months and I haven't even sent the invoice. That's been on my to-do list for 3 weeks now. Well, technically like 3 months, but actually written on a to-do list for 3 weeks, and I just keep putting it off. Why do I keep putting it off? It would take me 45 seconds to send them an invoice. I have to do that tonight after I'm done filming this video. It's currently 10:46. I'm hallucinating. I'm not actually hallucinating. I do feel overworked to a certain extent, and I'm really excited to go to this church camp this week. It's going to be kind of in the middle of nowhere up in the mountains. There's no cell service, very little Wi-Fi, like really no Wi-Fi, just enough to like annoy you. Like you can see that you have notifications, but you can't see what they are. Does that, you know what I mean? And I kind of like that. I kind of like the idea of just being able to put my phone down and not think about it. We'll be there for 8 days. And it's going to be very, very refreshing. I am going to answer some questions in today's video. I went to my Instagram and I was like, hey, you guys can ask me some questions and I will answer them in this video, do a little Q&A. But 2 little housekeeping things first. First, we got this Support Your Friends tea towel. Our friend Janie makes these like custom stamped tea towels. She usually does like cities with like famous landmarks in the cities, and I was like, hey, can you make a Support Your Friends one? And she said yeah, and then we got 250 of them. So we listed them in our eBay store. I think we paid $8 a piece, and we're selling them for $10 a piece. So I'm not trying to make a ton of money off you guys, just wanted to support her business, support our friends. So if you guys want to grab one, I'll have the eBay link in the description down there. Second order of business is FlipCon. FlipCon's an in-person reseller networking event that Haley and I are hosting with our friend Caleb from the Phoenix Resale YouTube channel. I feel like I've only talked about FlipCon maybe once on YouTube, and it's coming up in August. It'll be in Charlotte, North Carolina, August 24th and 25th, the last Wednesday and Thursday in August. It's going to be super fun. We've sold just over half the tickets we have so far. I think we have 300 spots. We sold like 160 tickets or so. We're probably going to have at least one of your favorite YouTube resellers at the event. I mean, we'll be there. Caleb, Phoenix Resale will be there. Daily Refinement, Ashley, Hustle at Home Mom, Commonwealth Picker, Art of Resell, Kat the Nurse Flipper, Ready Set Resell, Joey Bada Bing 22, Drew Profit Monsters, dealing with Dalton. I don't want to leave anybody out. I probably shouldn't start naming names, but I will put a thing on the screen here to show you everybody that's going to be speaking at FlipCon. It's just going to be a really, really fun time. So if you guys can make it out there, we'd love to have you. Again, we've got just under half the tickets remaining, and it'll be a really, really cool time. It's our first year doing it, and usually that's a little rough, but I feel super confident going into this that we're going to make it just a really memorable experience for you guys. So we'd love to see you there. So like I said, I asked my Instagram followers to ask me some questions over there that we could answer in today's video. I'm just going through trying to find something that's entertaining and maybe helpful for you guys. Flippa T Flip says, do you think reselling is something that can be done full-time forever? I would say yes. Reselling is probably the most ancient form of entrepreneurship, like just acquiring goods and then selling them for more than you paid. And I think that will be around forever. Even if the economy collapses and we go into some zombie apocalypse, people will still want things and they will be willing to trade other things with you, and you can kind of make a profit that way. In terms of the thrift store route and garage sales, I think that'll be around forever. I mean, thrift stores will probably keep increasing their prices along with inflation and the price of everything else in the market. But that will probably get harder, but I do think it will be possible forever. I'm going to say that. I think it'll be possible forever. It'll be harder as it goes on, but still possible. Credible Ohio 61 says, do you have a specific target sell-through rate for all items? Or does it vary from item to item? That is a good question. I'm happy you're asking about sell-through rate at all. We don't have a target sell-through rate for individual categories of items. I just look for stuff that I think will sell fast. If we look up an item and there's 700 listed and 4 sold in the last 90 days, I'm not going to waste my time listing that item. But if we look up an item and there's 700 listed and 3,000 sold in the last 90 days, then yes, I will take my time listing that item. So you just got to figure out which pair of numbers works for you. If you want fast sales, I would highly recommend you focus on sourcing items that have a 100% sell-through rate, meaning that in the last 90 days, there may have been 100 sold and there are 100 currently listed for sale. That would mean that your item should, statistically speaking, sell in the next 90 days. Every time I talk about sell-through rate and I give that breakdown, some people say I'm not calculating it right. Whatever. I just look at the total listed and the total sold. As long as those are equal, or if the number sold is greater than the number listed, those are the types of items that I would be looking for if you want fast selling items. I think the best example of this would be those TI-84 Plus calculators. I just sold a TI-84 Plus CE the other day, and I checked the sell-through rate. There were 715 available for sale and 3,600 sold in the last 90 days. And that's why every time you list a TI-84 Plus calculator, they sell within 24 or 48 hours as long as they're priced correctly, because that's just such a fast-selling item. So focus on stuff like that. I'd rather sell all calculators than get into used Sharpies. Nobody's ever going to buy a used Sharpie. The Gary Wong says, are you wearing socks? Nope. Sneak peek. That's all you get. If you want any more than that, you got to pay for it. James Jr. 5600 says, what is a good low-cost option for a thermal label printer? James, that's a great question. I've had a Dymo 4XL, I've had a Munbin something, and I've had a Rollo. And I'll say out of those three, Dymo is by far the worst and Rollo is by far the best. The Rollo and Munbin are pretty equal. They're both really reliable. The Dymo just had multiple issues. It seems like once every 2 or 3 weeks I had to unplug it and replug it in or clear the paper jam or something. And it's just, I've had the Rollo for 2.5 years now and I've had 0 issues with it. The only thing I have to do with that is put more paper in it. So if you're going to get one, I would definitely go with the Rollo. Just Call Me Wills says, do you see yourself scaling the business in the future? Bulk buyouts, contractors, etc. Just Call Me Wills. That's a good question. So unless you haven't been paying attention, we bought a new house and it has this very nice warehouse in the back. This warehouse is bigger than our last house. We've been incredibly blessed, and to be completely honest with you guys, we would not have been able to buy this property if it wasn't for the income that is generated through our YouTube channel from you guys, just like you right there watching these videos. So we owe all this to you guys. So this move, moving from our old house to this place with this warehouse, has been scaling the business. Our income has actually increased since we moved into the house. I think that has to do a lot with Whatnot as well, but we're just selling stuff a lot faster now, even without Whatnot. We're just more motivated, working in here, getting out of the house, getting out of the living space and coming into the workspace. It just makes it a lot easier to really focus on work and get more stuff done. Also, like I said in our live stream the other day, we've actually hired not an employee. She's a 1099 contractor, but we hired a helper. Her name's Kim. and she comes in whenever she wants because she's a 1099 contractor, but usually Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. And she does all of our shipping. She sets up our whatnot auctions. She's listing stuff on eBay. She's kind of doing anything and everything we need. She is a godsend. She's awesome. Kim, if you're watching this, shout out you, fist bump. And I would say hiring that helper has been scaling the business as well. I was always nervous about hiring our first employee, whatever you want to call it. But now that she's in here and she's fully trained and she's like rolling with everything, I cannot tell you how awesome it is, especially this week, like leading up to camp. I've been so focused on YouTube, and Haley, the whole day today, she's just been like packing and cleaning the house. And Kim was here. Did all of our shipping. She listed like 10, 15 things on eBay today. And it's just been awesome. So we have scaled our business to this point that we are now. Will we scale even further in the future? I don't think we'll ever leave this warehouse. I mean, it's like 1,440 square feet, so I don't think we'll ever outgrow this. So I don't think we'll get into bulk pallets or huge, all that mumbo jumbo. But I would maybe explore maybe hiring somebody else in the future, because seeing the improvement in our business that has come from hiring one person, if we can multiply that by even more by hiring somebody else, why wouldn't I want to do that? So we'll see. I'm not opposed to scaling further, but I'm also not in a rush to do it either. Forward Leaf Flipper says, is listing more the biggest key to more sales? And I think that's a great question, because a lot of people think that. They think if you just list 10 items a day, you should be able to sell all this stuff. But that's not true. If you're listing junk that nobody wants to buy, nobody's going to buy it, no matter how much of it you list. So I would focus more on, like I said earlier, looking for those items that have a really good sell-through rate. If you list 10 TI-84 Plus calculators a day, you're going to sell 10 TI-84 Plus calculators every single day. The only problem is sourcing 10 more every day. So just focus on stuff that's going to be worth your time in listing. I'd hate for you guys to get out there and you discover reselling and you have all this excitement and motivation for the business, and you list 3,000 things in your eBay store, but you don't take the time to learn sell-through rate and brand knowledge and market demand, and you end up with 3,000 active listings of absolute garbage that is never going to sell for you. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just saying that most resellers, including myself, even to this day, continue to source and even list things that are not worth our time. So just make sure that you are valuing your time when you source and list items for sale. Make sure it's going to be stuff that will sell for you. So is listing more the biggest key to more sales? No, listing better is the key to more sales. Becca Kodana says, what motivates you to work eBay, YouTube, reselling when you don't feel motivated to? That is a very good question, because to be completely honest with you, tonight I got home. We had a kickball game tonight for our church league, and we got home, I took a shower, and I was like, man, do I really want to go out into the warehouse and film this Q&A video, or we could just skip next week. Like, just everybody, YouTube viewers will understand. I'll just post on the community tab, like, hey guys, I'm out of town for a week, taking some time off. And that would be great. You guys would be totally understanding about that. But I wanted to give you at least one more piece of content to enjoy this week. And so what motivated me to do that, for YouTube especially, is like thinking about how many people watch our videos and how many people miss our videos when we don't upload. Like, if I upload one video late, I have at least 5 or 10 people that are messaging me on Instagram or commenting on an old video and saying, hey, are you okay? Like, what happened? We were looking for today's video. And stuff like that really keeps me motivated with YouTube, especially, like seeing how many people out there are impacted by the content that we post here on YouTube. With reselling, I don't know. Sometimes I'm not motivated. Whenever I have those like bursts of motivation for reselling, I try to only do reselling and try to milk that motivation for as long as possible. I'm like, I'm not eating lunch today. I'm not taking any bathroom breaks. I'm going to list until this motivation ends, because I know it comes so rare these days. So I try to take advantage of it best I can. Let's see. Robert Tico 138 says, what kind of legacy do you want to leave behind? That is a very good question, Robert Tico 138. I don't know. It would just be nice to be remembered. I would say if you just live like a boring life, just kind of minding your business and working a job and retiring and dying, like we all do eventually, it can be very easy to be totally forgotten after like 2 generations. Like my great grandfather, I don't even know his full name, to be honest with you. I don't remember anything about him. I'd never met him. And so if you don't leave behind something for future generations, it's very easy for them to forget you. So nobody in my family has ever been wealthy to any degree. Like, we weren't poor growing up, but I've certainly never received any money from an inheritance or anything like that. Nobody in my family ever has. So being the first person in my family that should, as long as everything goes according to plan, should be able to leave a fairly nice sized nest egg to our kids when we have those and grandkids, whatever, eventually down the road. That's a good feeling, like being able to leave something behind for your children and grandchildren when you pass. It's good. It helps them, and it's a great way to be remembered and leave that legacy. So I guess that answers your question. Soul Thrift says, would you rather eat 3 full meals or snack all day long? I am definitely a snacker. I would be totally okay with snacking all day long instead of eating 3 meals. Do you even thrift says, if you had a pet unicorn, what would you name it and why? No one ever answers this. I'm only answering this because he says no one ever answers this. Do you even thrift? To be honest with you, I've never thought about what I would name a pet unicorn, but probably something unexpected, like Derek or Jonathan. Pboard 35 says, are you tax exempt? If not, why? No, we are not tax exempt. We don't have our tax permit certificate resale thing. Basically, it's a permit where if you buy things at a retail store where you would normally pay sales tax, you could give them that permit and they would take off sales tax because you're going to sell it for a profit again in the future. So you don't want to pay sales tax at multiple different times in the process, if that makes sense. But for us, most of our inventory comes from the flea market or the Goodwills or other thrift stores, and Goodwills and thrift stores in our state do not charge sales tax. So the only time that would ever even come in handy is if we're doing like retail arbitrage or online arbitrage or something, and we just don't do enough of that to worry about it. Mustang McKean says, how often do you give your pup a bath? Talking about Moe's. You know, with long-haired dogs, they don't really stink that much. Short-haired dogs really do stink, and they need baths a lot. But I think Moe's just turned 5 2 days ago. 2 days ago was his fifth birthday, and I think we've given him a bath maybe 5 times, maybe once a year for the last 5 years. Sometimes he gets leaves on him or like rolls in dirt and he just shakes it off and then he's not dirty and then he doesn't stink. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Matt Perella says, how do you delegate time when it comes to sourcing, cleaning, and posting items? Matt, I will tell you that now that Haley is full-time with me and we have Kim, our helper, 3 days a week, I honestly don't do a lot of the reselling stuff. Like between YouTube and whatnot and filming, like going to thrift stores and stuff, there's just not a lot of time left to actually clean and prep and list the items. So Haley does a lot of the reselling, like listing and stuff, and then Kim does a lot of the shipping. So I kind of focus on the YouTube side of things. Tony Jord 3 says, Disneyland or Disney World, and why? And this is such an important question. You guys really need to focus here. So I've been to both. I've been to Disney World, I don't know, like 5 or 6 times. I've been to Disneyland once, and that was all it took. If you have ever been to Disney World first, Disney World's in Florida, if you've been there first, and then you go to Disneyland, I don't see how you couldn't be disappointed. Disneyland is smaller, it's older, I think it's older. The castle alone, like the castle in Florida is probably 3 times the size of the one in Disneyland. We went last year when we were at that YouTube conference. We stayed an extra day in Los Angeles specifically to go to Disneyland. And I don't want to complain. Like it was fun, but like for the amount of money we paid for it, I would much rather have just gone to Florida. Florida, Disney World in Florida is, in my opinion, 15 times better than Disneyland. Big Hanuous, Hanuis, Big Hanuous says, do you think you will ever quit/retire from YouTube? And if so, when? Well, Big Hanuous, I don't have any retirement plans anytime soon. I do love making YouTube videos. I like everything about it. So probably just keep making them until people stop watching. If that ends up being me making YouTube videos when I'm 85 years old, then so be it. You know, it's something that I enjoy. I never started doing YouTube for the money. I mean, the money's been a nice addition, certainly. But I've always had like a natural desire, I guess, to create video content that people consume and enjoy. And that passion will hopefully stick with me for the rest of my life. Aaron Storley says, do you consider yourself a reseller or a YouTuber? At this point, I'm definitely a YouTuber. Like, I probably spend like 40 hours a week, if not more, on YouTube alone. The YouTube content that we film and create is about reselling. So, like, I know how to resell. I know what things sell for, and I know how to do the whole process. But in terms of where my time is spent, I'm definitely a YouTuber. The Flipping Canuck says, if you needed to pick only one, would you pick eBay or whatnot? That is a great question. For us, because of our YouTube social media following, definitely Whatnot for sure. Like having the ability to source stuff in the morning, do a live auction, like a fun, entertaining, engaging hangout where we actually sell this stuff for a profit in the afternoon and then ship it out the next day. And we could literally do that every day. Like why wouldn't we want to do that, you know? But again, that's because of our YouTube following. Anybody can sell on Whatnot for sure, but I'm not ignorant to the fact that it's a lot easier for us because we have 2 or 3 or 400 people in our Whatnot auctions. If I did not have the social media following, I would still definitely sell on Whatnot because I enjoy the live auction format. It's fun. I think Whatnot's a great selling platform, but I would probably focus most of my time on eBay, at least until I built up a good following on Whatnot. Landon Horn 5 says, how much profit do you make by the end of the year? Landon, I think a lot of people are interested to know what other people make. We're raised, at least I was raised, mostly to like not talk about how much money you make, not talk about politics or religion, all the important stuff in life we're raised not to talk about. I always thought that was so funny. But yeah, I mean, Haley and I decided a while ago that we were not going to share like in-depth finances on YouTube anymore, just to, I don't know, it's just kind of weird. Like if you have friends or family that watch the videos and then they see that. And so we just didn't want to get into that. But we do have a lot of income streams. We have, YouTube AdSense. That's the money that we get from you guys watching our videos. We get YouTube sponsors. I probably do 2 to 3 sponsors a month, and each of those are pretty good. So that definitely helps a lot. We have affiliate income. We have like our Amazon products linked in the description of all of our videos. Anytime you guys buy something on Amazon, we get like 4% of that. That alone is usually like $800 to $1,000 a month just from Amazon affiliates. So that's really, really good. We have the reselling income on eBay. We have the Whatnot income. Whatnot is a sponsor of the YouTube channel, so they pay us money every month to do like a certain number of shows and to talk about Whatnot on YouTube. Somebody on Instagram the other day said they were exposing the Whatnot referral program. They're like, now I understand why all these people are talking about Whatnot. They get $10 every time they sign somebody up. I'm like, yeah. That's how a referral program works. Like same thing with like your Poshmark closet. Like I'm pretty sure this girl sells on Poshmark. It doesn't Poshmark say like, yo, use my code when you sign up and I get a credit or something. I don't know. She was like trying to expose like Whatnot as like a scam. I'm like, this is just how a basic referral program works. But anyway, we have that. We have our old house. We still own our old house that we're renting out. So now that's a stream of income. So yeah, all that adds up really fast. I mean, we have been extremely, extremely blessed in life, and we are just trying to be good stewards of everything God has entrusted to us, and try to grow this business and be a positive light in the world. And that flows perfectly into this next question from the Sam Tompkins that says, how does your faith motivate your entrepreneurship? I think that's a great question. So if you guys have watched the channel at all, you probably know that Haley and I are Christians. I mean, just in this video, I talked about church volleyball and church camp, I think. So you probably have an idea. But I've never at least I hope I haven't ever been too preachy or anything like that. I did have one time in a flea market video, somebody said, how are you? And I said, blessed and forgiven. And somebody commented on the video and said something like, I didn't come here to be preached at, blah, blah, blah. I'm unsubscribing. I'm like, you sound like you got some serious issues with the church there or something, buddy. Like that seems like a really small thing to be offended about. I do think it's interesting that we have this platform called YouTube where I can sit in my warehouse at 11:32 at night on a Thursday night and talk to my camera, but it's not my camera. It's 60, 80, 100, 120,000 different people all around the world. And I do, as Christians, Haley and I do believe that the whole point of life on this earth is to live a life like Jesus and tell others about him. But how can we do that on a YouTube channel that's about reselling? Because if you start talking about Jesus too much, you're going to lose subscribers and they're not going to listen to you anyway. So instead of preaching, we've decided to just live a life like Jesus, like show Jesus through our actions instead of talking about him verbally, if that makes sense. So we want you guys to see a Christ-like attitude in us when we talk to people at the flea market and when we negotiate and when we make deals with people. We want to be Christ-like in every aspect of our life, on camera and off camera, obviously. I don't know how to put this in words. It's getting late. I'm not a preacher, but hopefully that makes sense. I'm not here to preach the gospel to you guys, but I am here to show you what the life of a Christian should look like, just in case you were curious. Moving on to the next very deep and spiritual question from JD Manning Realty. Creamy or crunchy? JD, I'll have to say creamy. I don't like chunks. I'm not a chunk guy. I'm going through all these questions, and some of them are really good, but I don't want this video to be too long because it's 11:40 and I have to edit this video tonight. But I will end on this one from Mags McDaniel 22, and she says, do you miss your old life when it was just you and Haley and not 316,000 other people? That is a very interesting question. I would say that there are pros and cons to both parts, both chapters of my life. Before reselling and before the YouTube channel took off, it was a much more simple life. I didn't have to like maintain so many relationships, even just simple, like the people that I have on Instagram that I talk to like kind of on a daily basis. There's probably like 40 of them that I have like daily conversations with, not including anybody that sends me like message requests on Instagram or anybody that comments on YouTube. And so like a lot of my time is spent just talking to all these different people and maintaining relationships and maintaining these different conversations. And honestly, I wasn't very popular in high school. I didn't really have a lot of friends growing up. And even up until I married Haley and started the YouTube channel, I just didn't have a lot of friends. So like going from that to having all these people that want to talk to you and want to be friends, you know, that's been a big change as well. So do I miss my old life? Maybe sometimes, like maybe this week when I feel so overworked, maybe sometimes I miss the simplicity of it all and like just being able to look at Instagram without seeing 900 and something message requests in the top corner. But I would say today's problems are all good problems to have. Like the YouTube channel is growing and the business is growing, and there's just some pains, you know, associated with growing that I have to work my way through. But again, wouldn't trade a single thing for the world. I do miss the old life sometimes, but everything that we've been blessed with over the last 4 years of doing this, wouldn't trade it for the world. I think that's going to do it for today's video, folks. It's like 11:48 and I'm very sleepy, but I do want to show you this nice fan we got. Kim, our helper, asked for a fan the other day. I was like, I got you, boo. I got it at Lowe's. Let's put that thing on high. It takes a minute to warm up. Is it on high? That's low. This thing on high. Blowing the daggum shirts over there. It's blowing the bubble wrap. Thank you guys so much for watching. I don't know how long this video is going to be. I don't know how much of my rambling I will have cut out in edit, but if you've made it this far, I definitely appreciate your time. You're probably a true Harry Tornado supporter if you've watched the entirety of this video, but thank you guys so much for watching. You're the best, and we will catch you on the next one, which will probably be like next week, like a week after you see this video. We'll be away at camp. Love you so much. You understand. Catch you guys on the next one.